Hi students, I feel very happy to welcome you all to my class, and I'm very glad to welcome you all to our group, which means computer science group. So without being in the computer, today's world can't move, and wherever you go you can see the computer. It may be office, it may be a school, it may be a college, whatever it is, wherever it is you go you can see the computer. Without being the computer, today world can't move. So from this session you are going to learn introduction to computer, chapter 1, introduction to computer. So everywhere is computer, wherever you go, logistics, office, life, sales, distribution, medical care, automobile, transportation, agriculture, infrastructure, wherever you go you can see the computer. Without being the computer we can't work today. So next one is, before going to enter into the computer you must know what is computer. Computer, it is an electronic device. It receives input from the user and process it as per the instruction. Process it as per the instruction and gives output for user's expectation. This is what computer. So next one is how the human are evoluted from monkey to a man. Likewise, the computer is also evoluted from one stage to another stage. Yes, of course, it has generations of computer. We can classify the computer generation into 6 generations. The first one is first generation. The duration of the first generation is 1942 to 1955. And in the first generation, they have used vacuum tubes as a component to perform the computer. And these are the characteristics: big in size, which means the computer size is very big, nearly a room size, maybe 8 into 80 into 50 feet. And next one is, to operate the computer it needs more power, which means it consumes more power. Malfunction due to overheat. Malfunction is, it will stuck many times due to overheat. Machine language was used on those days. For the first generations of computer they have used machine language. Machine language, it is nothing but computer can't understand our English language, which means high level language. Computer can't understand C, C++, Java, .NET, those kinds of language. Computer understand only zero and ones. That's why they have used machine language. The zeros and ones are known as machine language. First generation computers are ENIAC, EDVAC, UNIVAC. And ENIAC weigh about 27 tons, which means the first generation computer weight is about 27 tons, and size is 8 feet height and 100 feet length and 3 feet wide, and consumes around 150 watts of power. So next one is generations of computer. The second generation, they have used transistors as a component to perform the operation of computer. The duration of the computer, so second generation computer, which means transistor, is 1955 to 64, and the characteristics are there compared with first generation, smaller, and it generate less heat compared with the first generation, consumes less power to operate compared to first generation. Punched cards were used first, operating system was developed. In first generation there is no output device. In the second generation they have used punched cards to produce the output, and first operating system was developed in this second generation computer. Developed batch processing and multi programming. uh, in the same time you can operate more than one process, that is what multi programming. An operating system, machine language as well as assembly language was used. Machine language as well as assembly language was used in these generations of computer. So next one is third generation. In third generation they have used integrated circuits, which means IC, and they have used integrated circuits as a component to make a perform of the computer. Duration of the computer, this generation is 1964 to 75. Computer was smaller, size of the computer was smaller, faster and more reliable. Reliable means we can believe the computer, and consume less power. It consumes less power to operate the computer. High level language were used. from the third generation of computer only, they have started to use high level language, which means high level languages are nothing but what we are going to study, what you are going to study as this volume 2, C++, Java, these are all comes under high level language. So next one is fourth generation. The duration of the fourth generation is 1975 to 80, and the component was a component, still we are using the component called processor, microprocessor. Compared with the other generations, the size of the computer is smaller and it is faster than other computer generations. Microcomputer series such as IBM and Apple were developed. The first microprocessor was developed by IBM and Apple. Now the most famous uh, microprocessor is Intel board. Portable computers were introduced. Portable is nothing but laptop and PC. These are all known as portable computers because portable is nothing but it is very easy to carry wherever you go. That is what called as portable. So next one is fifth generation, 1982 till date. We are using the component is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, it is nothing but what they are using to develop robotics. Robotics known as here artificial intelligence, and the characteristics of this generation is parallel processing. Parallel means one by one as a sequence. That is what called as parallel processing. And superconductors they are using. Computer size was drastically reduced. Very small size can recognize images and graphics. It can recognize the images and graphics, and in this generation they have introduced the concept of artificial intelligence and expert systems. And this generation of computer is able to solve high complex problems including decision making and logical reasoning. So high complex problems is nothing but prediction of the rain and prediction of earthquake. This is what called as high complex problems, because if it happen, it may be earthquake happen, or else it may be a tsunami happen, or else it may be what heavy flood happen, uh, more wastage maybe happen for the people, and natural disaster maybe happen to the people. So for calculating or predicting these natural disasters, they are using this kind of computer only. Fifth generation computers they are using. So next one is sixth generation. In future we are going to use, and they are using NLP, natural language processing. It is nothing but what we are going to say that could be understood by the computer. That is what NLP, natural language processing. What is natural language? Is what we are speaking, English, Tamil. This is what known as natural language. It could be understood by the computer. That is what NLP. And the characteristics of this computer is parallel and distributed computing. Distributed is nothing but in one computer what we have stored that could be used by other computers. That is what distributed computing. Computers have become smarter, faster and smaller. It becomes smarter means it can work very fast, and it is very smaller to other generations of computer. Development of robotics. In this field, in this generations also, they are going to develop robotics, natural language processing. Next one is natural language processing, which means it could understand what we are talking. Next one is development of voice recognition software. It can understand our voice, what we are speaking to it. That is what the last characteristics of sixth generation. So next one is, and the sixth generation is could be defined as the era of intelligent computers based on artificial intelligence, because it is going to be a marvelous one, because what we are going to say that could be understood by the computer means such a fantastic one. That is why it is going to be era of intelligent of computer uh, for coming years. So next one is, you have to know what is data and what is information. Data, it is nothing but it is a raw fact about a people or a place. Raw fact, it doesn't make any sense. That is what called as raw fact. It may be a rice, And for our lifetime example, rice, it is a raw fact, we can't eat it directly. To eat the rice we have to boil it. So the raw data is nothing but it is a data raw fact about a people, place, and it is suitable for communication, interpretation, or processing. So information is a collection of facts from which conclusions may be drawn. Information is nothing but the collection of data is known as information. For example, if I'm say if I say kavita, it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't give any meaning also, because kavita just it is a name. That is what called as data. Kavita is a good girl, kavita is a good runner. It gives an information. That is what called as collection of facts, runner, good, and all these things combined together and gives an information. That is what called as information. From the informations we can draw the conclusion. That is what information. So next one is components of computer. So the most important thing is components of computer. So here computer is the combination of hardware as well as software. Hardware is the physical parts of the computer. It may be a motherboard, it may be a CPU, it may be a monitor, mouse, keyboard. These are all comes under hardware. And next one is software. Software, it is nothing but the set of programs are known as software. To operate the computer we need both the things. Without being the software we are not able to operate the computer. Without being the hardware we are not able to operate the computer. So we need both the things, hardware as well as software. Without being these two things we couldn't operate the computer. Both hardware and software together make the computer system to function. So next one is computer. Already I have explained you, it is an electronic device that processes the input according to the set of instructions provided to it and gives the desired output at a very fast rate. That is what the definition of computer. Whatever the thing you gives according to the instruction, it processes inside the CPU, and finally it gives a desired output about the user. That is what known as here computer. So next one is components of computer. First one is input unit. Input unit is used to feed any form of data to the computer which can be stored in the memory unit for further processing. The examples of input unit is keyboard and mouse. With the help of the input unit only we are able to feed any form of data as input, which means feed is nothing but giving. That is what known as here feed. With the help of the input unit we can give input to the computer, and it will store the input what we have given to the memory unit for the further use or for the future reference, whatever it is. So next one is central processing unit. Central processing unit is the major component which interprets and executes software instructions. Without being the central processing unit a computer can't work. So as well as CPU is known as brain of the computer. Okay, so it only helps the computer to execute software instructions. It also controls the operations of the input unit, memory unit, as well as output unit. It accepts binary data as input, process the data according to the instruction, and provide the result as output. So binary data, it is nothing but what we are going to give as input that could be converted from high level language to binary language, which means machine language. If you are giving a, that can be or that could be uh, converted from high level language to binary language, because computer can understand zeros and one only, so that it can convert the the high level language to machine language, and after that it will gives the desired output to the user. And we can classify the CPU furtherly into three components. One is ALU, arithmetic and logic unit. The second one is CU, control unit. The third one is MU, memory unit. Arithmetic and logic unit is a part of CPU where various computing functions are performed on data. The arithmetic and logic unit helps the user to perform calculations. It may be addition, subtraction, multiplication, modulus, power, whatever it is. That is what the main usage of arithmetic and logic unit. So next one is control unit. The control unit controls the flow of data between the CPU, memory, and I/O devices. Because I/O devices is nothing but input output devices. What we are going to give as an input through input device, that could be received by the CPU and that could be stored by the memory unit in it, and finally it gives the desired output to the user. And the control unit controls the entire operation of a computer. Without the control unit we can't operate the computer. So next one is output unit. An output unit is any hardware component that conveys information uses to the users in an understandable form. Examples of output unit is monitor, printer, speaker, and etc. These are all comes under output unit, because output unit only helps the user to see the information. It may be a printable format or else in monitor. So next one is memory unit. The memory unit is of two types. The memory unit is of two types, and one is primary memory, the second one is secondary memory. The primary memory is also known as volatile memory. The best examples of primary memory is RAM, random access memory, and it is also called as temporary memory. It is also called as temporary memory because what we are going to give as an instruction, that could be received by the RAM, and that could be performed within the RAM only. After giving the result only, we are going to store into the computer in secondary memory. uh, if some operation is going on at the time, sudden power cut is happen, the things may be erased from the primary memory. What we are processing at present in RAM, that could be erased if any sudden power cut may be happen. And next one is the secondary memory is non-volatile, that is the content is available even after the power supply is switched off, because we have stored in it as a permanent thing, so that it never erased from the computer unless the user is going to be deleted. That is what known as here secondary memory. The best examples of secondary memory are hard disk, CD-ROM, and DVD-ROM. These are all the examples of secondary memory. So next one, input devices are there. Input devices are nothing but what are the devices help the user to give the input into the computer, to the computer, that is what called as input devices. The most commonly used input devices are keyboard and mouse, and in keyboard various keys are there, alphabets, numeric keys are there, navigation keys are there, function keys are there. These are all comes under keys. So with this I would like to conclude my session, and for this session today afternoon you maybe have a test. Watch the video carefully, and I hope you understand these topics what I have explained in this session. So thank you so much for paying your attention of this video, and we can see the remaining things in our next video session. Watch the video carefully and prepare well, do the exam, I mean do the test very well, and thank you so much.